Get ready for a horror story that will crawl under your skin and stay there. Tonight, we're telling the tale of the last visitor. It's about a night shift caretaker, a mysterious figure in a hallway, and a reflection that doesn't obey the laws of reality. Mara thought her job at the abandoned Thornewood House would be a quiet one. But at exactly 1:30 a.m., everything changed. A tall, silent figure appeared at the end of the hall. Her radio whispered chilling warnings, and when she glanced at her reflection, it started moving on its own. What truly happened inside Thornewood House that night? Why were there two sets of footprints leading out, but no sign of Mara anywhere? And who is the woman people still claim to see, smiling from the window? Grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's begin. Mara never believed the stories about the old Thornewood House. You know, the ones local legends about people vanishing, whispers about windows that held reflections long after you that walked how why. They were just campfire tales, things to scare kids. She only took the night shift caretaker job because she was desperate for the money. And honestly, for a place with such a dark reputation, it was surprisingly normal. The first few hours were quiet, almost peaceful. Too quiet. Then, at 1:30 a.m., it started. The hallway lights began to flicker, not in a random, faulty way, but rhythmically. They hummed with a low, guttural sound, like something was breathing deep inside the wires. Mara looked up from her desk, her heart giving a little flutter of unease. At the far end of the long, shadowy hallway, a shape stood. It was tall, impossibly thin, and perfectly still. The silhouette was just wrong. The shoulders were too sharp, jutting out at unnatural angles. The arms were too long, dangling nearly to its knees. Its head was tilted, as if it were listening for a secret hidden inside the walls. Mara froze, every muscle in her body screaming at her to run, but her feet felt nailed to the floor. She slowly, shakily, reached for the heavy-duty flashlight on her belt. Just as her fingers brushed against the cold metal, the shape took a single, fluid step backward, melting into the darkness as if it had never been there at all. She had to know. She had to prove to herself it was just a trick of the light, her tired mind playing games. Forcing one foot in front of the other, she walked down the hall to the spot where it had stood. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just a patch of air that was inexplicably cold, and a strange, lingering smell of wet soil, like a freshly dug grave. That's when her radio crackled to life, breaking the suffocating silence. A whisper, dry and raspy, slithered out of the speaker. You shouldn't have followed it. She spun around, her breath catching in her throat. The hallway was empty. It stretched on and on behind her, a tunnel of shadows and flickering lights. She snatched the radio, her hand trembling. Hello? Who is this? A long, tense moment of static-filled silence followed. Then, the same voice, closer now, whispered from the device. Look at the window. Slowly, her heart hammering so hard she could feel the vibrations in her teeth. She turned toward the large, ornate window beside her. Her own reflection stared back pale, wide-eyed, shaking. But something was terribly wrong. Her reflection wasn't doing what she was. It wasn't holding a flashlight. Its chest wasn't heaving with panicked breaths. It wasn't blinking. It just smiled. A slow, terrifying smile that stretched impossibly wide, splitting its face in two. Mara stumbled backward, a strangled cry caught in her throat. The reflection's lips moved again, forming silent words she couldn't understand, words that felt ancient and vile. She squeezed her eyes shut, wishing it all away, and in that moment of darkness, the glass shattered. It wasn't a single crash, but an explosion of sound, like 1,000 tiny voices all screaming at once. When she dared to open her eyes, her reflection was gone, but something was crawling out of the jagged, broken frame. Something with her hands, her face, her eyes, except they were empty, hollow pits. The first responders arrived 20 minutes after the distress call cut out. They found a scene of eerie stillness. Shattered glass glittered across the floorboards. A flashlight lay dropped and forgotten, its beam pointing at the ceiling, and in the thin layer of dust, they found two sets of perfectly identical footprints. One pair led into the room, another pair led out. But no one could agree on which set belonged to Mara. No one could agree on which direction she had left, and no one ever saw her again. Sometimes, though, if you happen to walk past the old Thornewood House late at night, you might want to keep your eyes on the road, because locals say, if you look up at that one particular window, you'll see a woman inside, staring out and smiling. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy stories that linger in the dark, make sure to follow for more.